Well, 31 athletes in 6 sports have tested positive for doping after their samples from the 2008 Summer Olympic Games were retested using enhanced methods. Now, David Larkin is an attorney and biochemist with expertise in international sports law and anti-corruption. He joins us now from Washington, D.C. These 31 athletes, David, they could be banned from the Games coming up in Rio later this year. Is this a good day for the IOC, with cheats finally being brought to justice, or is it quite damning that they weren't caught in the first place?
Well, I mean, the methodologies have updated, so great credit to the IOC for at least taking this on with new methodologies. The new methodologies allow us to detect doping that previously would have gone undetected. That's why they're looking backwards.
Thomas Bach, he's the president of the IOC, says that this proves that cheats have nowhere to hide, but it's 8 years after the event. I mean, is this a sign that cheats are always going to be one step ahead of the authorities when it comes to doping? Is that something we just have to accept?
Well, I mean, it's doping will forever haunt the games, and the issue is building a system not only in doping but in sport justice, where we have a system that keeps and monitors all of these things proactively, not reactively, and with the utmost respect. We still have a ways to go.
You mentioned there that doping is going to haunt sports. Is it going to haunt the Rio Games? Can fans and will fans trust the integrity of what's coming up in Rio later this year?
Well, I mean, doping is always going to haunt the games, and fans should, unfortunately, given the current system, be somewhat skeptical. We're hopeful that things will get better, but we still have a long ways to go, and that includes doping and it includes sport justice. We have more samples coming out later on from London 2012, and you can expect that more athletes may indeed be implicated.
So what should the IOC do next, do you think, particularly in the case of the Russians? I mean, collective punishment is the word being used. Is that the right way forward here to try and clamp down finally on doping?
Well, I think the IOC has to recognize, and we all have to get honest about what really goes on in sport at the highest levels. And that is that it's really not about sport, it's about geopolitics. And the geopolitical intrusion of nations into sport is just as big a problem as doping and anything else. If it is proved that the Russian state had a coordinated system of doping its athletes and covering it up, then indeed the entire nation should be banned. I think that's the only logical conclusion and just conclusion.
Okay, David, unfortunately time is against us, but thank you very much. David Larkin there in Washington, D.C.